Hey everybody, it's time for chapter 12 of Alienated. Time to crack on. But before we do, it's a big shout out to Albert in London. Albert, hope you're doing well. Hope you're helping out around the house and staying in and staying safe. Let's crack on. Chapter 12, Holy Flying Easter Egg. I followed the map Sonya had given me towards Area 51's scrapyard. As I walked through the quiet residential part of the base, past identikit houses, I realized that I'd never lived anywhere this hot before. The warm, dry air reminded me of vacations when Mom was still alive. I remembered one trip, about 4 years ago, probably the last time I'd been back to the States, when we all flew to Disney World. Jessica had gone gaga over the Magic Kingdom, but for me, the real highlight wasn't in Orlando. No, it was on the Atlantic coast, the Kennedy Space Center at Cape Canaveral. I marveled at the rockets on display, and Mom told me all about watching the Apollo missions when she was growing up. Jess couldn't drag us out of there for all the Dumbos at Disney. My memorial rocket launch may have ended with Dad and Jess hating me, but I was still glad I'd launched Mom's ashes into space. Dad may have been disappointed in life, but it would have disappointed Mom if I had tried to if I hadn't... Stop. Hey everybody, it's time for chapter 12 of Alienated. This chapter is going out to Albert, so big shout out to Albert in London. Albert, I hope you're doing well, hope you're staying safe, hope you're helping out around the house and staying in. So this is chapter 12, Holy Flying Easter Egg. I followed the map Sonya had given me towards Area 51's scrapyard. As I walked through the quiet residential part of the base, past identikit houses, I realized I'd never lived anywhere this hot before. The warm, dry air reminded me of vacations when Mom was still alive. I remembered one trip, about 4 years ago, probably the last time I'd been back to the States, when we all flew to Disney World. Jessica had gone gaga over the Magic Kingdom, but for me, the real highlight wasn't in Orlando. It was on the Atlantic coast, the Kennedy Space Center at Cape Canaveral. I marveled at the rockets on display, and Mom told me all about watching the Apollo missions when she was growing up. Jess couldn't drag us out of there for all the Dumbos at Disney. My memorial rocket launch may have ended with Dad and Jess hating me, but I was still glad I'd launched Mom's ashes into space. Dad may have been disappointed in life, but it would have disappointed Mom if I hadn't tried to give her wings in death. I picked up my pace to a light jog, passing the low bungalows that glowed from the living room's televisions. I spotted a family of giant worms curled up on the sofa watching a cop show and wondered what they must think of humanity's obsession with dramatizing murder in prime time. Across the street, a pair of 6-armed apes desperately tried to soothe their crying baby. In another house, a family of Ojibwats haggled over Monopoly. Seeing all of these alien families made me wish that my family could be a bit, well, more normal. But, like Dad said, maybe I needed to lower my expectations. I followed the map across Groom Lake High's football field and kept to the edges, in the shadows. Then I climbed over a high fence in the end zone into the scrubby, parched stretch of desert between my new school and the outermost offices of the Bureau's military base. The blinds were drawn at the 2-floor beige office buildings, and I snuck past without drawing any attention to myself. The road dead-ended at a massive scrapyard of machinery, dilapidated hangars, and rocket parts. Psst, someone whispered. Sonya emerged from behind the office building, her pink face half hidden in a hoodie, but her reflective black eyes glinting in the moonlight. "Come on," she whispered, and we ran into the yard. We weaved through piles of scrap that to anyone else would look just like old jet parts and cargo containers. But to me, a self-trained rocket builder, these were ingredients for a gourmet space meal. Gorgeous guidance systems, stranded starships, rusting rockets, and stacks of silvery metallic components that I couldn't quite identify, but they had my rocket sense tinkling like crazy. "Sherman?" Sonya asked. "Are you licking your lips?" "This is crazy," I exclaimed. "Why would they just leave all this great stuff out in the open?" "Reverse psychology," Sonya speculated. "People assume that anything out here can't be that important. It's genius, and it's a great place to hide the eggcraft." I assumed that her triple tongue gave her an occasional speech impediment, and that she'd actually said spacecraft. But no, once we rounded a corner, I saw it. And it was most definitely an egg. An egg the size of a garbage truck. An egg with 2 triangular cockpit windows, gold landing gear, exhaust pipes along the side like a dragster, and a warm red light shining from an open hatch in the back, down onto the wire mesh steps of the gangplank. Houston, with eyes glowing orange and servos whirling softly, was running his silver fingers very slowly over the shell. "Houston, why are you caressing my egg?" asked Sonya. "I'm checking for hull cracks," he said. "Better safe than incinerated." "Don't be such a downer," Sonya said. "She's solid." I was trying to fathom the size of a chicken capable of laying this spacefaring egg. Can we go back to the egg part?" I asked. "Come aboard," Sonya beckoned. "I'll show you how to fly her." "No," Houston said. "Wait." He straightened up, rotated his head, and moved more robotically than I'd ever seen him move. "Vehicle approaching, take cover." Houston backed himself into a nearby space junk, switched off his eyes, and disappeared. He was completely camouflaged amid the metallic cylinders and disused fuselages. Say that 10 times fast. Camouflaged amid the metallic cylinders and disused fuselages. Sonya and I listened. All I could hear were the cicadas and the breeze whistling through all that lovely space steel. Houston," I said, "I don't hear..." "Shh," Sonya said, flicking her tongues. "I hear it too. Get down." She closed the hatch of the eggcraft with a keyring remote and dragged me over to join Houston. From the darkness, we watched and we waited. Finally, I heard the car. The chugging engine, louder and louder, of a 4x4, or maybe a truck. Its headlights reflected off the various rocket bodies until a bright red Toyota pickup with no roof came into view, skidding to a halt. A familiar blue and yellow tentacle snaked out of the driver's side, and then another, and then another. "Bet you thought a venti tent couldn't drive one of these things, eh, bipeds?" Octo yelled. He slammed the pickup doors shut, and all 3 of his beaks beaming with pride. Bipeds?" Sonya rolled her eyes and came out of hiding. "We're trying to do this in secret, remember?" "What?" Octo shrugged. "You don't like my wheels?" "You're telling me the guy with 20 legs couldn't just walk?" Sonya asked. Houston had resumed his inspection of the egg, ignoring Octo. "It's a style statement and the ladies love it," he claimed. "Hi, Houston, what's up?" "We will be," he said, "at 40,000 feet, traveling over 1,000 miles per hour, and I thought someone might appreciate a pre-flight hull integrity check before we take off." "I keep telling you the eggcraft's solid," Sonya asserted. "I can't believe you've got your own car," I said. "Technically, it's my dad's," Octo explained. "Hank won it in a poker game, but he can't stay out of the water long enough to drive it, so now it's the Octomobile." "Your dad sounds awesome," I said. "Hank's all right, but he'd drown me if he found out." "Can we forget about the Ventitent's car, please?" Sonya said. "We have a volcano to study. Houston, are you satisfied?" "Eggcraft hull," Houston said with a nod, "is 98.21% sound." "I smell pizza," Octo said, sniffing me. "I don't suppose you brought..." "Rounding up, that's good enough for me," declared Sonya. She reopened the hatch with a chirp of her keyring clicker and leapt up the gangplank in what I swear was a ballet jump. "Come on, if we take off now, we can get out of here before Ned finds us." "Too late, Pinkberry," said a snobby voice from the darkness. The deity wannabe stepped out of the shadows, shimmering as he examined the giant egg. "But nobody said we'd be riding in a... Oh, is that your birth egg?" He screwed up his nose as if someone had farted. "What?" Sonya hissed. "Not as shiny as the spaceship that Daddy promised to buy you?" "I can't think of anything more repulsive," Ned said, "than a spaceship that came out of someone's..." "But you're not invited," Sonya said. "I want to be amused," he announced. "So make room. I'm coming with you." "If you want to be amused, Ned," said Sonya, "get a mirror. We're out of here." "Then you'll all be expelled in the morning," he threatened. "Unauthorized departure from a classified facility is a serious offense." "Are you kidding?" Sonya said. "The eggcraft has a cloaking device. Makes her totally undetectable. Nobody's going to find out a thing. Ned pulled his neon phone from his pocket, held it up, and flash, took our photo. Or maybe I'll just email this to Meltzer right now. Or should I wait for the video of you mortals taking off? Sonya fumed. Octo froze. If I get expelled, dude, he explained, I'll have to go back to the home planet, and that would not be good for my allergies. All right, Ned, get aboard, Sonya said. But don't expect me to amuse you. Ned sauntered up the gangplank, whistling Leaving on a Jet Plane. I followed him into the ship and took my first look inside a bona fide spacecraft. I tried to block out the fact that my least favorite alien was along for the ride, and that the egg came from a giant reptile's bottom. I didn't want to lower my expectations. So that's chapter 12. Join me tomorrow for chapter 13. If you're enjoying the story so far, hit the subscribe button. And then you can have a new one to come to you every day. And please tell your friends, maybe your teachers or friends at school want a bit of story time. I'm happy to share, and hopefully you're enjoying this. And we'll keep going. Thanks so much.